Fans of the Motor City, I got a question for you. When's the last time that you've seen the Detroit Lions that dominant? I mean, I get it. Aaron Rodgers was out. The last time I checked, Aaron Rodgers plays offense, and Detroit just lit up Green Bay's defense. You know, Aaron Rodgers isn't going in at middle linebacker and knocking Amir Abdullah out of the game, or he's not going in at cornerback and guarding Marvin Jones. The fact is, this is one of the best Lions wins we've seen in a while. And I get it, you know, if Rodgers was playing, Green Bay would have had a better time of possession, and that would have definitely had a good effect on the game moving forward. But the fact remains that Stafford was just impressive tonight. He was calculated. He made all his throws in the turkey hole. He was precise, and that's the way you got to play in this game. And maybe even more than Stafford, what about Marvin Jones? Marvin Jones has been flat out unguardable since he's arrived in Detroit. I can't even begin to tell you how many people he's mossed since he's lined up out wide in a Lions uniform. So as long as we can get this running game going, Detroit's in pretty good shape. Now, we called a 28 toss down by the goal line early on in the game, and we scored pretty easily. That's the play Rick Wagner was out in front of Amir Abdullah. And I was wondering the whole game, why didn't we go back to that on the goal line? You know, we tried to run a 28 toss out of a pistol later on, but that got blown up in the backfield. If you want to run a toss, you got to be an I form. You got to have a fullback out in front, someone that's going to knock the snot out of somebody and really set the tone that you're here to play 3 yards in a cloud of dust football. So the Lions definitely need to work on that. Plus, you can work that fullback dive on the goal line. And the other thing is, don't be afraid to run a naked bootleg down there. Everybody's selling out on the very first read they have when you're on the goal line. So if you get a 24 or a 23 going, and then you naked bootleg off that with Stafford, he can make that run. I know you don't want to put Stafford in danger, but most of the flow is gonna bite inside on that play, and that's a touchdown. You know, and the other thing I want to echo again is the fullback dive. You got to get the 31 and 32 dives going, especially down by the goal line. Sign the straight up bruiser, a Larry Zonka type that can lower his head and just knock somebody out cold in the A gap. And that's what we need to pound it down by the goal line. But other than that, you know, this was impressive. To go into Lambeau, which is somewhere we never win, quite frankly, and get a big win out there, that says a lot about this team. I know they're only 500. The Lions are 4-4 on the year, but you know, there's a lot of confidence that comes from this win, and they'll definitely take that moving forward. Um, as far as Green Bay goes, they're in a little bit of trouble. No Rodgers, just they just don't have that sixth gear anymore without him in the lineup. Brett Hundley did all he can do, but unfortunately, he's just not a polished thrower yet. He's still got to refine his skills a little bit. Um, you know, give it. He's still early. Give it time. He might get there, but you know how NFL fans, we're such a win now league that you know everybody's calling for Brett Hundley's head right now, especially in Green Bay. Um, why not Kaepernick at this point? If you think Kaepernick can give you more than Hundley can, which obviously it kind of looks like he probably could, based on Kaepernick's stats last year. I think he had 16 touchdowns and 4 interceptions or something like that. Hundley, I don't think he would get to those numbers as a full year as a starter. And I don't even think Kaepernick started all the games last year. He was in a time split with Blaine Gabbert. So I know Mike McCarthy was really upset at the reporter for asking about Kaepernick, but at this point, it's a realistic question to ask. You know, he could help this football team, and if they can give this team enough life and Rodgers could come back, who knows? You know, if I was in Rodgers' shoes, I don't know if I would come back just because. What if you do what Tony Romo did in Dallas? You know, he rushed back from an injury one time, I think it was a shoulder, and he broke it again. So you don't want to see that happen to Rodgers. And that ended up, you know, look at now. Romo's in the booth now. He's not even playing anymore because of all the injuries that he compiled over the course of his career. So if I was Rodgers, I might play it slow personally. You know, he's getting up there in age. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is 33 years old right now. So the time's ticking on his career. I think he could play till 40 years old like Brady does. But, you know, some of these guys just don't want to. if you can walk away from the game clean, where you don't have any injuries, and you can like look at Barry Sanders. I don't know if you saw the commercial of Barry Sanders tonight. He's playing dodgeball. He looks good. He can still get out there on the dodgeball court and juke some balls and have some fun. And like Terry Crews made the actor Terry Crews made a said a line that really stuck with me. He said he used to want to die on the football field, not anymore. That's because he realized how awesome life is after football, and you can't just get so tunnel minded on your career while you're in the moment to think that this is all you're ever going to live for. There is a lot more after football. You can get into sports media, you can be a coach. There's a lot of things you can do. You can start your own business. So Rogers definitely thinking about life after football, or he needs to be at this point at 33 years old. But obviously, if you're a football fan, we'd all love to see him back out there. That's all I have for tonight. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. What a win for the Detroit Lions, and hopefully they keep roaring.